Amara swept the compound floor at dawn, while her stepmother's daughters slept. When she collapsed from exhaustion, they stepped over her body to reach the breakfast table. That morning, her grandmother whispered, "A girl who cooks for others doesn't deserve to eat first." Amara's university scholarship money. It paid for her stepsister's wedding dress. Twice. Have you ever felt invisible in your own home? Valued only for what you give, never for who you are? This is one of those touching stories rooted in African folklore, the kind of real-life stories and African stories that remind us why life stories matter. They force us to ask, how far would you go to make your family see you? What Amara did next shocked everyone. She staged her own death. Amara was 19 when the acceptance letter arrived. She had woken at 4 that morning, as always. Fetched water from the well 2 kilometers down the red dirt road. Cooked breakfast for 7 people. Scrubbed the compound stones while her stepsisters, Zainab and Folake, slept in matching silk bonnets. By the time the postman knocked, Amara's hands were cracked and dry. The envelope was cream-colored, heavy. The university crest gleamed gold in the morning light. "Congratulations," it read. "Full scholarship to the nursing program. Registration fee 50,000 naira. Deadline 3 weeks. Amara's mother had been a nurse, died bringing Amara into the world." This letter felt like a hand reaching back through time. She showed it to her father that evening. He sat on the veranda, counting cash for Zainab's dowry jewelry. He glanced at the letter, smiled weakly. "Set it down, that's wonderful, Amara. I need the registration fee, Papa, 50,000. His smile faded. He looked toward the house where Mama Zainab, his second wife, was braiding Folake's hair. "Talk to your stepmother," he said quietly. "She manages the household money." Amara found Mama Zainab in the kitchen. The woman wore her white lace head wrap, the one she reserved for church and women's group meetings. It made her look holy, untouchable. "Mama, I need to register for university. The scholarship covers tuition, but 50,000 naira. Mama Zainab didn't look up from the onions she was chopping. "We don't have it." But Papa just counted money for Zainab's gold necklace. "That was 80,000, the knife paused. Mama Zainab's eyes lifted, cold and flat. "Zainab is getting married. A wedding is a family investment. University?" She snorted. "For a girl with no real family. That's charity we can't afford." Amara's throat tightened. "I'm Papa's daughter. You're a mouth to feed, and we've fed you for 7 years. Mama Zainab wiped her hands on her apron. "In our culture, a stepdaughter must serve 3 years of household duty before pursuing her own life. You owe us 4 more. That custom is outdated." The village chief said, "The chief isn't paying for your food." Mama Zainab stepped closer. Her voice dropped. "You want to leave? Fine, but you'll leave with nothing. Not a kobo, not a reference. And everyone will know you're ungrateful." Amara's hands shook. She walked out. 3 days later, the humiliation went public. Amara sold tomatoes at the village market every Saturday. Her earnings, small hard won, went into a tin under her mattress. She'd saved 12,000 naira over 2 years. That morning, Mama Zainab appeared at her stall. She smiled at the other vendors, greeted them warmly. Then she turned to Amara and said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "This one. She thinks she's too good for housework now. Wants to run off to university and abandon the family that raised her?" The vendors stared. Her mother's people never came for her. Mama Zainab continued, adjusting her white head wrap. "We took her in, clothed her, and now she wants to throw it in our faces." Amara's face burned. She wanted to scream. To show them the acceptance letter, to explain how Mama Zainab had stolen her earnings, intercepted letters, erased her mother's memory from the house. But she said nothing. She packed her tomatoes, walked home, knelt at the small wooden shrine her mother had left behind, a carved figure and a white beaded bracelet. The only proof her mother had existed. She slipped the bracelet onto her wrist. It felt cool, solid, like a promise she couldn't name. That night she prayed, not for revenge, for clarity. "Show me the truth," she whispered. "Show me if I matter to them at all." The answer came the next morning. Dr. Okoye ran the village clinic. He was old, graying, with steady hands and a kind face. He'd delivered Amara, trained her mother, held her mother's hand when she died. He found Amara sitting outside the market, staring at nothing. "When did you last eat?" he asked. She couldn't remember. He bought her fried plantain. Watched her eat. Then he handed her a worn photograph. It showed a young woman in a crisp white nurse's uniform. Her smile was wide, confident, alive. "Your mother," Dr. Okoye said. "She saved 12 lives in her first year. You have her gift." Amara's eyes burned. "Don't let them steal it." He leaned closer. "Sometimes people don't value what they have until it's gone." His voice dropped. "I know a way to show them the truth. It's old medicine. Dangerous, but not deadly." Amara looked up. "What kind of medicine?" Dr. Okoye pulled a small vial from his pocket. "Dark green liquid. It smelled like earth and bitterness. It mimics death," he said. "Slows your heartbeat to almost nothing. Cools your skin. You'll appear gone for 12 hours. Then you wake." Amara stared at the vial. Her pulse hammered. "If you die," Dr. Okoye continued, "will they grieve the daughter they lost, or celebrate the burden they're free of?" He placed the vial in her hand. The glass was warm from his pocket. "I'll be there," he promised. "I'll watch over you. Make sure you're safe. But the choice is yours." Amara walked home in silence. The vial burned in her pocket like a question she couldn't answer. That evening, Zainab's wedding plans consumed the house. 40 guest favor bags needed sewing, by hand. Amara's job. Her father found her at midnight, needle moving in the lamplight. He placed 5,000 naira on the table. 1/10 of what she needed. "For your university," he said. His voice was small, ashamed. Amara stared at the bills. At the acceptance letter pinned to the wall, now 10 days from its deadline. The next day, Mama Zainab bought herself a new white lace head wrap for the wedding. It cost 8,000 naira. Amara sat on her mat that night. The vial rested in her palm, catching moonlight. She thought of the acceptance letter, the scholarship slipping away, the years of invisible labor, the stolen money, the public shaming. She thought of her mother's photograph, that confident smile. She thought of Dr. Okoye's question, "Will they grieve the daughter or celebrate the burden?" She unscrewed the cap, stared at the dark liquid inside. Not yet. She screwed it closed, hid it under her mattress next to the white beaded bracelet. But the question had rooted itself in her mind, growing like a seed in dark soil. The deadline passed on a Tuesday. Amara watched the sun rise that morning, knowing her scholarship was gone. The university had sent a final notice. Without the registration fee, her spot went to someone else. She folded the acceptance letter, placed it in the wooden box with her mother's bracelet and the vial, closed the lid. Zainab's wedding was 2 weeks away. Amara stopped asking for help, stopped explaining herself to neighbors who whispered when she passed. She moved through the house like a shadow, cooking, cleaning, existing, but something had shifted inside her. She began keeping a journal, a small notebook hidden under her mattress beside the vial. In it, she recorded everything. June 3rd, Mama Zainab took 4,000 naira from my tomato tin. Told Papa I spent it on jewelry. June 7th, Folake wore my school dress to town. Returned it stained. Said I should be grateful she's willing to wear my rags. June 10th, Papa gave me 5,000 for university, then took back 2,000 for Zainab's wedding shoes. Net 3,000. The numbers were small. The cruelty was not. 10 days before the wedding, her father asked her to sew name cards for 120 guests, by hand. Gold thread on ivory paper. "It's family," he said, as if that explained everything. Amara's fingers bled by the 3rd night. She wrapped them in cloth and kept working. Mama Zainab inspected the cards. Found a smudge on one. Threw all 120 in Amara's face. "Do them again," she said, this time with respect. Amara picked up the cards in silence. Started over, but that night she unscrewed the vial, stared at the dark liquid. Not yet, she told herself. Not yet. Dr. Okoye appeared the next morning. He came to the house under the pretense of checking on her father's blood pressure. But when Mama Zainab left the room, he pulled Amara aside. "You haven't used it," he said quietly. "I'm still deciding." Dr. Okoye studied her face. The exhaustion, the bleeding fingertips, the resignation settling in her eyes. "I have something else to show you," he said. He pulled an envelope from his bag, old, yellowed at the edges. "Addressed to Amara, care of the village clinic." "This arrived 5 years ago," Dr. Okoye said. "Your stepmother picked up medical supplies that week." "I gave it to her." "She promised to deliver it." Amara's hands shook as she opened it. The handwriting was careful, looping, unfamiliar. "My dearest Amara, I am your mother's sister, Ngozi. I have been searching for you since your mother passed. I lost contact with your father after he remarried. I am a school teacher in Lagos. I have a home, a spare room. I can pay for your education. I sent money with this letter, 50,000 naira for any immediate needs. Please write back. You have family who wants you. With love, Aunt Ngozi. The letter was dated 5 years ago. The money was gone. Amara's throat closed. She couldn't breathe. She sent more letters, Dr. Okoye said softly. 4 more over the years. I gave them all to your stepmother. Each had money. Total 250,000 naira. 250,000 naira. Enough for 4 years of university. Enough for a new life stolen. Why didn't you tell me? Amara's voice broke. I didn't know she was hiding them until last month, Dr. Okoye said. Your aunt came to the clinic desperate. She thought you'd rejected her. I realized then what had happened. He handed her another envelope. This one new, unopened. I contacted her, explained. She's been waiting to hear from you. Amara stared at the envelope. At the possibility of escape she'd never known existed. They stole 5 years from you, Dr. Okoye said. 5 years of having someone who loved you. 5 years of opportunity, his voice dropped. The vial isn't about revenge, Amara, it's about truth. These people need to see what they've done. Not for your sake, for theirs. Amara opened the new letter that night. Aunt Ngozi's words were warm, urgent, apologetic. She'd been searching. Sending money. Praying Amara was safe. I have re-enrolled you at the university, the letter said. The money your stepmother stole cannot be recovered quickly, but I have savings. Come to Lagos. Let me give you the life your mother wanted for you. At the bottom, a phone number, an address, an open door. Amara sat with the letter for hours. She could leave, pack a bag, take a bus to Lagos, start over. But something stopped her. Her father didn't know about the stolen letters, the hidden money. Mama Zainab's systematic erasure of her mother's family. If Amara left quietly, the truth would stay buried. Mama Zainab would remain the model, stepmother. The village would remember Amara as the ungrateful girl who abandoned her family, and her father would never know what he'd allowed to happen. She pulled out the vial. The journal. The letters, Dr. Okoye had said it. Sometimes people don't value what they have until it's gone. She needed them to see, to confront what they'd done, to choose publicly between love and convenience. Only then would she know if redemption was possible, or if mercy meant walking away. She wrote to Aunt Ngozi that night. Dear Aunt, thank you for finding me. I want to come to Lagos. I want the life Mama dreamed for me, but first I need to know the truth about this family. I need them to show me who they really are. I'm going to do something that might seem strange. Please trust me. I'll explain everything soon. Give me 1 week. With love and hope, Amara, she sealed the letter. Gave it to Dr. Okoye the next day, along with careful instructions. If anything goes wrong, she said, make sure my aunt knows what happened. Dr. Okoye's face was grave. Are you certain? Amara looked at the house, at Mama Zainab directing servants, at her father pretending not to see, at Zainab laughing in her wedding dress. I need to know, she said. Before I go, I need to know if I ever mattered. Dr. Okoye nodded slowly. 3 days before the wedding. That's when we'll do it. The ceremony will bring everyone together. The whole village will witness. Good, Amara said. She felt strangely calm. The fear had burned away, leaving only clarity. She had a choice now. She had Aunt Ngozi. She had escaped, but she also had the vial. The truth serum. The mirror she could hold up to this family's face. She would stage her death, listen to their grief or their relief, and then she would rise, not for revenge, for witness. The next 5 days passed in careful preparation. Amara worked without complaint, sewed the favor bags, cooked the pre-wedding meals, smiled when spoken to, but at night she and Dr. Okoye planned. He explained the vial's effects in detail, the 12-hour timeline, the symptoms observers would see, the moment of waking. Your heartbeat will slow to 4 beats per minute, he said. Your skin will cool. You'll appear completely gone. But I'll know. I'll check your pulse in a specific way. The village won't question my pronouncement. And Aunt Ngozi? She'll arrive the morning after. She's already on standby. She'll insist on a proper funeral. That's when we'll stage the gathering. Amara nodded. Her hands were steady now. 3 days before the wedding, she stopped eating. Told Mama Zainab she felt weak, Feverish. Work through it, Mama Zainab said. We need you functional for the ceremony. Amara nodded. Returned to her tasks. That night she took out the vial for the last time. She held it up to the lamplight. The liquid inside looked almost black. It smelled like earth and endings. She thought of her mother, of Aunt Ngozi, of the life stolen from her and the truth waiting to be born. She unscrewed the cap, and this time she did not hesitate. Amara drank the vial at midnight. The liquid burned going down. Tasted like charcoal and bitter herbs. She forced herself to swallow every drop. Then she lay down on her mat and waited. The first sensation was cold. It started in her fingertips, spread up her arms like ice water in her veins. Her heartbeat slowed. 4 beats, 3. The room blurred at the edges. Folktale. Last thing she saw before her vision faded was her mother's. White beaded bracelet on her wrist. Then, nothing. Folklore found her at dawn. She'd come to wake. Amara, for breakfast preparation, shook her shoulder. No response. Shook harder. Amara. Amara's skin was cold. Her lips pale. Her chest barely moved. Folklore screamed. The household erupted. Mama Zainab rushed in, still in her nightclothes. Her father stumbled behind, eyes wide with sleep and confusion. What happened? Mama Zainab demanded. She won't wake up. Folklore backed away from the mat, hands trembling. Mama Zainab knelt, pressed 2 fingers to Amara's neck, felt for a pulse. Her face went still. She's gone, Mama Zainab said quietly. Amara's father dropped to his knees. No, that's not... She complained of fever yesterday, Mama Zainab said. Her voice was steady, almost clinical. I told her to rest. She must have been sicker than we thought. Zainab appeared in the doorway, wedding veil half pinned in her hair. What's going on? Your stepsister is dead, Mama Zainab said. Zainab's hand flew to her mouth, but her eyes... Amara would have seen them if she'd been watching. Her eyes flicked to her mother. A question passed between them, silent and quick. Send for Dr. Okoye, Amara's father said. His voice broke. Maybe she's just... Maybe he can... I'll go, Mama Zainab said. She stood, adjusted her wrapper. Folklore, cover her. Show some respect. She left without looking back. Dr. Okoye arrived within the hour. He moved slowly, checked Amara's pulse in 3 places, wrist, neck, behind the ear, lifted her eyelids, listened to her chest with his stethoscope. The room held its breath. Dr. Okoye straightened, shook his head. She's passed, he said heavily. Her heart has stopped. I'm very sorry. Amara's father made a sound like an animal in pain, but somewhere deep inside the stillness, Amara heard everything. She couldn't move, couldn't open her eyes, but consciousness remained, trapped in her paralyzed body like a prisoner behind thick glass. She heard her father weeping, heard Folklore's sharp intake of breath, heard Mama Zainab's calm, measured instructions. We need to prepare the body, Mama Zainab said. Folklore, fetch water. We'll wash her. But Mama, Zainab's voice uncertain. My wedding is in 3 days. Should we? Life continues, Mama Zainab said firmly. Amara would have wanted your happiness. We'll bury her quickly. A simple service. Amara's father looked up. Simple. We can't afford elaborate, Mama Zainab said. Not with the wedding expenses. We'll do what's respectful. But we can't delay Zainab's ceremony. The guests are coming. The dowry is arranged. Silence. Then her father, voice hollow. How much for a burial? The cheapest coffin is 15,000 naira, Mama Zainab said. The undertaker quoted me this morning. This morning? Dr. Okoye's voice held something sharp. You called the undertaker already? I wanted to be prepared, Mama Zainab said smoothly, in case the worst happened. Amara's father stood, swayed slightly. I'll pay for it. She deserves... You'll pay from what fund? Mama Zainab's tone hardened. We spent everything on Zainab's dowry gold. Unless you want to postpone the wedding. Her father said nothing. 15,000, Mama Zainab repeated. Simple coffin. Simple service. Tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow. Dr. Okoye stood. That's very fast. The heat, Mama Zainab said. You know how it is, doctor. We can't wait. A pause. Then Dr. Okoye. I'll need to examine her more thoroughly. For the death certificate. Alone, please. Mama Zainab hesitated, then nodded curtly. 5 minutes. The room emptied. Dr. Okoye waited until the footsteps faded. Then he leaned close to Amara's ear. I can hear your heartbeat, he whispered. 4 beats per minute, perfect, you're doing beautifully. He adjusted her position slightly, folded her hands over her chest. They're showing you exactly who they are, he continued, voice low and sad. I'm so sorry, child, but now you'll know. Now everyone will know. He placed something in her folded hands. Paper, crinkled. Your aunt's letter, he murmured. When you wake, you'll need it. Then he stepped back, called the family in. Natural causes, he announced. Exhaustion, possibly malnutrition. Her body simply gave out. Mama Zainab nodded as if this confirmed something. Amara's father stared at the floor. The next 24 hours were a blur of voices and movement around Amara's still form. The undertaker came, measured her, brought a plain wooden coffin that smelled of cheap varnish. They dressed her in her one good dress, the same one Folke had borrowed and stained. No one had washed it. Village women arrived to pay respects. They cried loudly, said the expected things, so young. Such a tragedy. She worked so hard for this family. Mama Zainab received them in her white lace head wrap, dabbing her eyes with a handkerchief, playing the grieving stepmother perfectly. But when the women left, Amara heard her talking to Zainab in the next room. At least we won't have to worry about feeding her anymore, Mama Zainab said, or finding her a husband. That's 50,000 in dowry we'd never have gotten for a girl with no real family. Mama, Zainab sounded shocked. She just died. And life goes on, Mama Zainab said. Your wedding goes on. Don't waste tears on someone who wasn't blood. Footsteps. Then Folaki's voice. Can I have her room? It's bigger than mine. After the funeral, Mama Zainab said. Don't be disrespectful, but I can have her things. Take what you want. Donate the rest. Inside the coffin, they'd moved her there that evening, Amara felt something crack open in her chest. Not her heart. That was barely beating, but something deeper. Grief, rage, clarity. Dr. Okoye had been right. She'd needed to hear this. Her father came late that night. Amara heard him sit beside the coffin. Heard him crying soft and broken. I'm sorry, he whispered. I was weak. I let her control everything. I told myself it was easier. That you were strong enough to endure it. He touched the coffin lid. His voice dropped to almost nothing. I gave you to her piece by piece. Your education, your dignity, your mother's family. I thought if I kept the peace, everyone would be happy. A long silence, but you were never happy, were you? He wept harder. I don't know how to make this right, he said. You're gone. And I can't, Papa? Mama Zainab's voice from the doorway. Come to bed. You need rest. I need to sit with my daughter. You need to be strong for Zainab's wedding, Mama Zainab said. Amara is at peace. Let her go. Amara's father stood slowly. She heard his footsteps retreat. Heard the door close, silence. Then Mama Zainab's voice, alone now, speaking to the coffin. You always were difficult, she said quietly. Even in death, you're disrupting my daughter's happiness. But it's over now. In 2 days, you'll be buried. In 3, Zainab will be married. And everyone will forget the charity case who couldn't survive a little hard work. Footsteps. The door. Darkness. Amara lay in the coffin, consciousness floating in the drugged stillness of her body. She'd heard everything. The calculations, the relief, the casual cruelty, the absence of love. But she'd also heard her father's grief. Real, if too late. The question Dr. Okoye had posed was answered now. They mourned the convenience she'd provided. Not the daughter she was, except her father. He mourned something. Whether it was her or his own failure, she couldn't tell. Morning came, Amara sensed movement. Heard new voices. One unfamiliar, I am Ngozi, the voice said. Strong, clear, angry. Amara's aunt. Her mother's sister. Mama Zainab. I didn't know she had... Of course you didn't, Aunt Ngozi cut in. You hid my letters for 5 years. Silence. Sharp and dangerous. I don't know what you're talking about, Mama Zainab said. Dr. Okoye told me everything, Aunt Ngozi said. The letters. The money. 250,000 naira. Stolen. That's a lie. We'll see about that, Aunt Ngozi said coldly. But right now my niece deserves a proper funeral. Not this rushed, cheap burial you're planning. We can't afford... I will pay, Aunt Ngozi said. The service will be this afternoon, 3 o'clock, at the village gathering ground. Everyone will attend. Everyone will hear what this family did to my sister's child. You can't... Watch me. Amara felt the coffin lift. heard the scrape of wood on floor, felt herself being carried, Dr. Okoye's voice close, careful, gently. They moved her to a cart, transported her to the gathering ground, and Amara, trapped in stillness, felt the faintest flutter in her chest. Her heartbeat was returning. Slowly, the vial's effect was wearing off. In 1 more hour, she would wake, and when she did, the whole village would be watching. The gathering ground sat beneath the ancient iroko tree, its branches spreading like arms over 200 seated villagers. Amara's coffin rested on a low platform at the center. Simple wood, unvarnished, the cheapest option. The family sat in the front row. Mama Zainab wore her finest white lace head wrap, the one she saved for important occasions. Zainab and Folake flanked her, dressed in mourning clothes. Amara's father sat apart, shoulders hunched. Dr. Okoye stood to the left, medical bag at his feet. Aunt Ngozi stood to the right, arms crossed, face carved from stone. The village chief opened the ceremony. We gather to honor the passing of Amara, daughter of this soil. She was taken too young. May her spirit find peace. The crowd murmured agreement. Amara's father was asked to speak first. He stood slowly, walked to the coffin, placed one hand on the lid. His voice came out broken, barely audible. My daughter was helpful. She worked hard. She never complained. We will miss her service. The words landed hollow. Several villagers exchanged glances. He returned to his seat without meeting anyone's eyes. Mama Zainab rose next. She approached the coffin with measured steps, dabbed her eyes with the corner of her white head wrap. Her voice carried across the gathering, strong and clear. I raised Amara as my own from the time she was 12, she said. I fed her, clothed her, gave her a home when she had nowhere else to go. She wanted for nothing under my care. She paused for effect. It breaks my heart that she's gone, but I take comfort knowing we did right by her. We gave her everything a girl could need. She touched the coffin gently. Rest now, child. Your work is done. The performance was flawless. Several women in the crowd wiped tears, but Aunt Ngozi stepped forward before Mama Zainab could sit. May I speak? Her voice cut through the humid air like a blade. I was Amara's mother's sister. I've been absent too long, the chief nodded slowly. You may. Aunt Ngozi walked to the front. She didn't look at the coffin. Her eyes stayed locked on Mama Zainab. You speak of giving Amara everything, Aunt Ngozi said, but I have a question about that. She pulled a stack of envelopes from her bag, old, yellowed, opened. I sent letters to Amara, 5 of them over 5 years. Each contained money, 50,000 naira each time. Total 250,000 naira. The crowd stirred. That was a substantial sum. I addressed them to the village clinic, Aunt Ngozi continued. Dr. Okoye collected them, and he gave them directly to you, Mama Zainab. Every single one. Mama Zainab's face paled. I never... Dr. Okoye? Aunt Ngozi turned. The doctor stepped forward. His voice was grave. I confirm it. 5 envelopes over 5 years. I handed each one to Mama Zainab personally. I assumed she was passing them to Amara. The crowd's murmur grew louder. Mama Zainab's hands tightened on her head wrap. There must be some mistake. I don't recall... You don't recall 250,000 naira. Aunt Ngozi's voice rose. You don't recall letters that offered Amara a home, family, and education? This is not the time for accusations, Mama Zainab said sharply. We're here to mourn, not to... To what? Tell the truth? Aunt Ngozi moved closer. You hid those letters because you needed Amara. You needed her labor, her silence, her erasure. Mama Zainab's composure cracked. That money went to household expenses. Feeding her, clothing her. We used it for the family. Then why didn't you tell her? Aunt Ngozi demanded. Why did you let her believe she was alone in the world? Why did she die thinking no one wanted her? Mama Zainab faltered. The crowd was completely silent now. Amara's father stood. You told me those letters never came. You said her mother's family abandoned her. They were lies to keep her imprisoned, Aunt Ngozi said. Every word. Every year, Folake whispered, too loud in the stillness. Mama said that girl wasn't worth... Quiet. Mama Zainab grabbed Folake's arm, hissed the word through clenched teeth, but it was too late. The crowd had heard. The village chief raised his hand. Silence fell like a curtain. This is grave, he said. If these accusations are true... They are, Dr. Okoye said quietly. I have records, dates, signatures. The chief turned to Mama Zainab. You will need to answer for this. After the ceremony, Mama Zainab's face twisted, defensive, cornered. She's dead. What does it matter now? We can argue about money later, but right now, the coffin lid creaked, every head turned. The sound came again. Wood scraping against wood. Movement from inside. Dr. Okoye moved quickly to the platform. Everyone stay calm. The lid lifted. Slowly, from within. Amara sat up. Her movements were stiff, mechanical. Her skin still pale. But her eyes were open, clear. Alive, Mama Zainab screamed. Zainab fainted, crumpling into her sister's lap. Folek scrambled backward, tripping over her own feet. The crowd erupted, gasps, shouts, people surging forward, then back, unsure whether they were witnessing a miracle or a curse. Sit down, the chief commanded. Everyone sit. Slowly the crowd obeyed. But every eye stayed fixed on Amara. She climbed out of the coffin. Her legs shook but held. She stood on the platform facing the assembly. On her wrist, her mother's white beaded bracelet caught the afternoon sun. The gathering ground went utterly silent. Amara's voice came out hoarse but steady. I heard every word. Mama Zainab tried to speak. No sound came out. Every lie, Amara continued. Every insult. Every calculation about how much my death would save you. She looked at Folek. You asked for my room before my body was cold. Folek's face crumpled. Amara turned to Zainab. You worried about delaying your wedding. Not about losing a sister. Zainab stared at the ground, tears streaming. Then Amara faced Mama Zainab. The woman still clutched her white lace head wrap like a shield. You called the undertaker the morning I collapsed, Amara said, before Dr. Okoye arrived. Before anyone confirmed I was dead. You were prepared. You were ready. The crowd's murmur was low, dangerous, and when I was gone, or so you thought, you told my sisters not to waste tears on someone who wasn't blood. Mama Zainab's mouth opened, closed, opened again. I wasn't dead, Amara said simply. I was listening, learning, seeing who you truly are when you think no one's watching. She turned to the crowd. I didn't do this for revenge, she said. I did it because I needed to know. If I died, would they grieve the daughter they lost? Or celebrate the burden they were free of? She gestured to her family, to the hollow eulogies, to Mama Zainab's performance. Now you know, she said. Now everyone knows, the chief stood. His voice carried weight. This is unprecedented, but I have heard enough. He faced Mama Zainab. You intercepted letters, stole money meant for an orphaned child, and when that child died or appeared to, you mourned the loss of her labor, not her life. Mama Zainab said nothing. Her white head wrap had slipped, revealing hair flattened with sweat. The money will be returned, the chief said. All 250,000 naira, within 30 days. You will also post a written apology in the market square. He turned to the assembly. And the custom of 3-year household duty for stepdaughters? As of today, it is abolished in this village. No child will be enslaved under the guise of tradition. The crowd erupted in approval. Amara swayed slightly. Dr. Okoye steadied her. Aunt Ngozi climbed onto the platform and wrapped her arms around her niece. You're safe now, she whispered. You're coming home with me, Amara nodded. She looked one last time at her father. He was weeping. Not the hollow grief of before, but something deeper. Broken. I forgive you, Amara said quietly. But I can't come back. Not to that house. Not to that life. Her father covered his face with his hands. Amara turned to the crowd. To the villagers who had watched her suffer in silence for years. I'm alive, she said. But to them, I have been dead for a long time. Today I chose to wake up. She stepped down from the platform. Aunt Ngozi took her hand, and together they walked away from the gathering ground, leaving the coffin empty behind them. The white beaded bracelet gleamed on Amara's wrist as she moved toward the sun. The village cleared slowly. People approached Amara in small groups, touched her arm, asked if she was all right. Some apologized for not seeing, for not speaking up. Amara accepted their words with quiet nods. She was exhausted, her body still recovering. But she was upright, breathing free. Mama Zainab sat alone. Her white lace head wrap lay crumpled in her lap. No one approached her. Dr. Okoye checked Amara's pulse one final time. 60 beats per minute, normal. You'll be weak for a few days, but you'll recover fully. Thank you, Amara said. For everything. The village chief approached. I'll draft the decree today. The household duty custom ends immediately. 3 other girls in this village have been serving under it. They'll be freed by evening. And the money, Aunt Ngozi asked, the council will ensure repayment. 250,000 naira within 30 days, or we seize assets. Her standing in the women's group is already revoked. Amara nodded. Justice without cruelty. Accountability without destruction. And your father? The chief asked carefully. Amara looked at the man still sitting alone, staring at the empty coffin. He can apologize, she said. But apologies don't erase years. He chose silence when I needed protection. He chose peace over my dignity. Her voice stayed steady. I forgive him because carrying anger would poison me. But forgiveness doesn't mean I return to that house. It means I release him from my future. The chief bowed slightly. Wise beyond your years. Amara's father approached. Stopped a few feet away, afraid to come closer. Amara, I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. You're right, she said. But I give it anyway. Not because you've earned it. Because I choose not to carry what you did. Tears streamed down his face. Can I write to you? At your aunt's house. Can I try to? In time, Amara said. Maybe, if you do the work. If you leave that marriage. If you protect the daughters you still have. I will. I swear it. Promises were air until they became action. Amara turned to Aunt Ngozi. I'm ready to go home. They left the gathering ground together. Walked past the market, the well, the house where she'd been invisible. At the village edge, Amara stopped. Looked back, Mama Zainab was leaving alone. The white head wrap gone. The mask finally broken. Amara felt no triumph. Only a strange, hollow sadness for what could have been. She touched the white beaded bracelet on her wrist. Her mother's legacy. Let's go, she said. Aunt Ngozi's home in Lagos was small but bright. 2 bedrooms. A kitchen that smelled like coconut rice. Windows full of morning light. Amara's room had a desk. A bookshelf. A bed with clean sheets that smelled like lavender. This is yours, Aunt Ngozi said, for as long as you need. I've re-enrolled you at the university, she continued. Nursing program. Classes start in 6 weeks. I'll cover all costs. Amara's eyes burned. Why? I knew your mother. And your family. You don't owe me anything except to live fully. Amara leaned into her aunt's shoulder and wept. Not from grief, from relief. From the overwhelming sensation of being wanted. That evening, she opened her nursing textbook and began to study. Outside, the city hummed. Inside, Amara finally began to live. 1 year later, Amara stood in the university courtyard wearing crisp white scrubs. Nursing student. Top of her clinical rotation. Her instructor had said that morning, "You have your mother's gift." She touched the white beaded bracelet on her wrist. Still there, always home now meant Aunt Ngozi's house in Lagos. Yolof rice and laughter. Study sessions and plans for next semester. Family built on choice, not obligation. Once a month, Amara returned to the village. Not to the house, to Dr. Okoye's clinic where she volunteered. Teaching girls about health careers. Showing them that escape was possible. The gathering ground hosted Amara's Circle every 3rd Saturday. Girls shared their stories. Named injustices, found witnesses. 3 girls had been freed from household duty after the decree. 2 were in school now, 1 learning tailoring. All of them alive in new ways. Mama Zainab had repaid the 250,000 naira, sold her jewelry. Her standing never recovered. Zainab's wedding was cancelled. She worked at the market now, quiet and cautious. Amara's father wrote letters every 2 weeks, careful, apologetic. He'd left the marriage. Amara responded once a month, brief, boundaries intact. Forgiveness didn't require reunion, it required release. On the anniversary of her funeral, Amara placed flowers beneath the iroko tree. A group of young girls approached. "You're the one who came back," one whispered. Amara knelt to their level. "I made them choose. They showed me who they were. Now you do the same. Find people who see you, who want you, who make space for you. That's family." The girls watched her with wide eyes, memorizing, believing. The white beaded bracelet caught the sunset, a promise kept, a life reclaimed. This is one of those African stories that reminds us why life stories matter. These touching stories rooted in African folklore aren't just entertainment, they're mirrors. They witness the real life stories happening in homes where love is conditional. What would you do if your family valued your service more than your soul? Have you survived a household where you were invisible? Comment below. Share your story. Your voice might be the permission someone else needs. Subscribe for more African folklore centered on resilience and choosing yourself. Next, the daughter who refused her father's chosen husband and built an empire from rejection. Hit the bell. These real-life stories need witnesses.